Yeah, I'm like, join to view. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Let's test the microphone. Thanks for joining. So the microphone is tailored, huh? Awesome. Okay. Testing microphone. 1, 2. Okay. Awesome. I'm just making sure that I can hear myself, and then in 2 minutes we'll start. So thanks everyone for joining. Just give me a minute. I'm just yeah. Okay, sounds good. Great. Okay. Okay, awesome. And it's 12 o'clock on the dot. I want to thank everyone who's joining at this time. Good day to you. So usually would say good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are connected this wonderful afternoon. Due to technical glitches and difficulties, I am unable to connect to Instagram, but a replay will be sent to Instagram for sure. If you have friends waiting on Instagram, just reach out to them. Let them know that Abisola is live on Facebook this wonderful afternoon. And it's a lunch and learn. So if you're in school, if you're in class, if it's your break season or break time, You can join me, and as we go, it's just going to be for 30 minutes, and it won't be past 30 minutes, for consistency, and so that you can quickly get back to the things that you were doing before you connected to this awesome voice and awesome face this wonderful afternoon. Okay. As we go, I just want you to type in the chat what growth means to you, or what growth means for you. When you hear growth, what does growth mean to you? What does growth mean for you? So let's kick it. Let's get the ball rolling. Growth. When you think about growth, what does that mean to you? Okay, growth. When you think growth, what comes to mind? Anybody trying to looking to build a cat this awesome afternoon? You probably would have seen my video that talks about growth, the idea that growth goes with, age. And those are the types of myth that we're looking to debunk this afternoon. So today I want to talk about something that has become very popular, um, in personal development, in leadership, in education, and even in faith spaces, the growth mindset. And it just ticked my, um, something just happened. I would say it was just like a switch that got turned on in my head to begin to explore what growth, having a growth mindset looks like, because I've been in circles where I have also presumed that with age comes growth, right? There's that part of growth that comes with, yes, I'm adding on to numbers and years. And there is that part of growth that must level up to growth with age, which is your mind. Um, we always say, I've always heard it, that sometimes age goes unaccompanied with wisdom, and wisdom is not necessarily experience. Sometimes experience adds to wisdom, and wisdom adds to growth. So that a person is, like I said in my video that brought you here this afternoon, like I said in that video, a person can be 50 years old, and you marvel at um, the level of expectation that is expected, the extent of, human interaction, social behavior that is expected of someone that is that age. So goes a child that's probably a lady or man in their 20s, and you are amazed at how much they comprehend, they understand social cues, how to relate with people, how to interact with people. And that social experiment essentially makes us understand, has made me understand, that you can grow without having a growth mindset. And you can also grow and not even be conscious of what growth looks like or what growth should look like. So you've heard phrases like just grow. If you've ever heard, the growth mindset has now become a statement around us in the world. The growth mindset. This probably, if you're watching this right now or afterwards, you would probably know that the word mindset is not unfamiliar in the social media spaces. So you hear something around just shift your mindset, or the ideology that if you believe it, you'll become it. And then the other one that you probably would have heard before is, oh, you can do anything if you think positively. So today I'm just going to be touching on two myths of growth mindset. And if you really like the video, please, give us a thumbs up, share it with a friend, let them watch it. Someone that you really think that this will be beneficial to them. Um, so while the growth mindset is powerful, it's often misunderstood. And when misunderstood, it can lead to frustration, guilt, a lot of missed expectations. Your family has an expectation of you, oh, you should have known this by this age. Or your friends have an expectation of you, oh, I wouldn't expect you to behave in a certain way. And realizing that growth and age don't go together has really helped me to manage my expectation of the people that I work with as a coach. So it can actually lead to those things and even spiritual confusion. So today we're not rejecting growth and we're not rejecting the growth mindset, but we're only clarifying it, and we're going to talk about the myths and not to criticize people. So be free to, the expectation of this meeting is to free you and to free us from false expectations, because real growth is not shallow, and sometimes growth is not instant. The depth of growth that's required of is, a summer vegetation or seed is different from when you're growing a baobab tree, for example. So you grow a seed, a corn seed or a maize seed, and it's ready to be, taken down and harvested in about probably 6 months, or 4 to 5 to 6 months. With strawberry, it's about 2 months, it's less. And if you're growing a massive tree in the forest, it takes many years. The baobab tree, I can't remember any other one, but that baobab tree really, just sticks to my mind, just stands out in my mind. So, what is the growth myth? Number one, that growth mindset, the number one myth is that with growth mindset, you are always positive. So anyone who comes saying something negative, there is a very good chance that, we often give them that, oh, you don't have faith if you're in a church, religious setting. Oh, you don't have faith. That's the reason you're negative. And, if I have a growth mindset, you're too so hard on yourself. If I have a growth mindset, I should always feel positive. And being hard on yourself itself is also an indication that you need growth. So um, you will always feel discouraged. That's the truth. And you wouldn't always feel like you're excelling. There are many times that you will try something and it will not look exactly the way you wanted to try it. You would have probably heard sayings like, oh, if you don't give up, something around not quitting. Sometimes you should actually quit. Okay, there are some things that you should quit. you know and that's the amazing thing about growth. If you have tried a plan, you have something that you've already figured out that you're trying to do, and it's not working out, that's not something that you say give how do we say winners don't quit? If you know that comment, drop it in the chat. I want to hear from you. We always say something about not quitting. There are some things that are not worthwhile, so you have to look at the long term possible outcome of something that you're doing that you shouldn't quit, and something that you're doing, the long term effect of something you're currently doing right now that you should probably stop doing. For example, it will not be beneficial to you and I if, procrastinating is a thing that you need to overcome. It will not be beneficial to you and I if, what else? Think about it. I know the things that you should probably quit smoking. That's another blatant example that we can give. That's something that's not a theory that's applicable, or that's not a scenario that the theory winners don't quit is applicable to. So um that's what it looks like. So it's not also about, feeling like if I'm tired then I'm not growing. Sometimes it's okay to be tired, but what you do after being tired, what you do after feeling sad, what you do after feeling discouraged, is much more important than the feeling itself. So what is now, how do we now demystify that myth? Okay. You are not weak. That's one thing. I've said so many things to demystify that myth. Growth will always feel uncomfortable, and growth can involve disappointment. You tried applying, you don't have a good necessary qualification for, let's look for a technical role. Let's say an architect, for example, it requires a lot of engineering. Let's put engineering, because I know that, you have to wire things. If you're an electrical engineer, you need to know physics. You need to understand maybe a little bit of chemistry, but you have to be great with physics and calculus and, further maths. If you are taking further maths in school, and you have to know these things. You have to know how to calculate and add these things together to bring up a wiring situation. I don't know anything about engineering, and I'm not envious of the people who do. I love what I'm doing, and I love my own space. So if you want to know what program I studied, you can send me a DM after. But I'm very happy doing this. Coming online, talking to so many people is part of what I love to do. Okay, so it will feel uncomfortable, so you are not weak. All right, normalize feeling tired, normalize feeling discouraged, normalize, feeling pain, feeling sad. And numbing those feelings is actually also a sign that you need growth. But what you do with those feelings and pain, is what the growth mindset really looks like. So the growth mindset says, I can. The growth mindset acknowledges where I am, and the growth mindset says, without believing, this is where I'll stay. So it means that you're always thinking about what the next phase looks like. All right. So that's the first myth about growth. And the second myth that I will be touching today is very, very religious. So if you're a spiritual person like myself, this is for you. One of the things that I've come to see from a biblical perspective is that we have always heard, contrary to popular belief, what's that thing? Growth is self-powered. If you're a Christian and you believe in Jesus, growth is never self-powered. In fact, we don't talk about, so much about self. We dial down on self, and we trust and believe in the grace that comes with our Lord Jesus Christ, and, the capacity that comes with experiencing a transformed, a changed life. So, the world says growth is all about you. The world says just change your thoughts and you change your life. And, you have everything you need within you. You are enough and nothing less of you, and it just projects self, self, self to that extent. But the Bible teaches you something deeper. All right. Yes, your mind does matter. I was in a prayer meeting earlier today, and we were talking about how you can be born again for 365 years, and nothing has really changed about you, rather than observing religious rituals and activities, going to church, but not being in church, not having a mind that is open to receiving what your shepherd, your pastor, your rabbi is teaching you. So you look at this, it says that, with growth comes transformation. So transformation is expected to go with your growth. Change is expected to go with your growth, and it's not self-generated. And if you want, we can go into scriptures. Romans 12 verse 2 says, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So there is a renewal that needs to happen. Yes, your spirit is born again, if you understand the concept of being born again, but your soul still needs transformation. And that's why I'm here. Okay. We will talk about things that relate to the soul from a spiritual perspective, and we'll talk about things that relate to your soul in relating with the humans. After all, those are the two important what's the word now, commandments that Jesus gave us when he came. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and your soul and your mind. You see where mind comes in again. He said the second one is also like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. So there is a mind shift that needs to happen when it comes to human interaction, and we'll explore the things that actually hinder human interaction, relationships in marriages, in families, and such as that. So that means that you don't transform yourself. Your strength comes from the faith that you hold there, your faith in Jesus. So he began a good work in you. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. So growth starts with God, growth continues with God, and growth is completed by God. So that's what the growth mindset looks like from a biblical perspective. A biblical growth mindset says, no, I participate, but God produces. I cooperate with God. I'm open. I'm willing for God to use me, to help me to be a better person. But first, God is the one who produces this fruit through me. So when we have that God reliance perspective, it takes us away from pride. When we succeed, it takes us away from shame when we struggle. Shame is not part of growth. You shouldn't think, feeling ashamed. That's the reason many people, when they stumble, they don't want to go forward to talk to a spiritual head to say, hey, I messed up, because they think that stumbling, feeling tired, not all the time, not as a consistent behavior though. If it's a consistent behavior, there's another spiritual understanding of that. That's like, this person hasn't really come into the full knowledge of what transformation really means, or what salvation really looks like. So when you're tired, when you see when you stumble, in your Christian walk, you growth doesn't shame you. Having a growth mindset does not equal shamifying you. It means that you ask for help from your community. You ask for prayers to strengthen you. So hopelessness, it protects you from hopelessness when progress is slow, because growth is not about proving yourself. It's about becoming aligned with God's purpose. So what's the summary of what I've been saying to you in the past 22 minutes? The summary of this is that you understand that your path is like the shining light. It shines more and more, even unto a perfect day. So growth is progressive, and growth is directional. It's grace filled. We don't use grace as an excuse to continue in sin. Grace is an enabling force that helps us to stay clear of sin. Grace is a teacher, okay? Grace teaches you to say no to ungodliness. Grace teaches you to say no to the things that deter you from actually growing. That's what grace is. Grace is. So let's not misunderstand and misinterpret grace as, oh yes, I can do it many times and then, I will still come back, okay? So you don't grow by force. That's something that you should also take on with you. You grow by faith, you grow by obedience, and you grow by absolute surrender. So my charge to you and my word for you in summary this wonderful afternoon is that you to adapt a growth mindset, to adjust to having a growth mindset, you don't have to be closed off. And to not be closed off, you have to be open-minded. And to be open-minded, you have to have a lifelong learner approach. That's the type of mind that you need to adapt. Being a lifelong learner, not being afraid or shy to talk to anybody to learn from. That's what having a growth mindset looks like. Nobody's too little for you to learn from. No one is too much, so too old for you to learn from, to be inspired by. That's what growth and having a growth mindset looks like. So a growth mindset is not fake positivity. No, we're not faking positivity until we make it. We're not aspiring to aspire to before you retire or you don't retire. No, it's not just a mantra. It's an intentional effort that we all need to make so that we are the best versions of ourselves. So thank you for joining me with your for your lunch and learn today. I hope you learned something. And if this was really inspiring for you, please share with your friends, share with everyone that you think, even the people that you've tried to talk to and they don't really seem to understand. Share this with them. It's a gift to them. And follow me on all social media platforms. I'm on Facebook today. I'm on Instagram. Send us a DM, save this video, repost it, and have a wonderful afternoon. Until next time, next Monday, with my Lunch and Learn Growth with Abisola Olabisi. Bye bye.